The one thing almost all parents have in common is that they strive to be the best at it that they can. As a mother myself, I understand this desire and I have the goal to educate myself as much as possible. Being a better parent is the thing that motivates me to do better and be better every day. It's the reason I'm so passionate about spreading knowledge of parenting styles and the effects they have on children. As a young single mother to a rambunctious 3-year-old, I noticed that I was allowing the things going on in my life and within myself, things that I believed I'd been keeping my son from seeing, were manifesting in his behavior. He would go from being the sweetest child to a child who was aggressive, who was angry for no reason. And in my search for answers to this behavior, I realized that it was me. It was the way I was parenting him because of how I felt. The aggression and stress I felt was staring me in my face. I have a passion to spread this information because sometimes as humans we get consumed with ourselves, and no matter how well we think we're hiding it, we're not. Today, I would like to discuss with you the three main types of parenting: authoritative, authoritarian, and permissive, and why I believe that authoritative is the most effective. I will present you with documented research from academic journals to back up my opinion. Journals such as an article by Malevsky in the Journal of Child and Family Studies, in which I learned of a connection between parenting styles and between parenting styles and depression. Also, an article by J.S. Brooke in the Journal of Genetic Psychology, where I found a link between parenting styles and aggression. But before I get into the research, I'd like to discuss the ways to be an effective authoritative parent, as pointed out by Sandra Huckenberry in the textbook Discovering Psychology. There are 6 guidelines to remember when consciously choosing to be an authoritative parent. The first one sounds obvious, but it's the most important. Let them know that you love them. Physical and emotional support are monumental to their development. Next, listen to your child. Allow them to have thoughts and opinions and teach them that they are entitled to them. But more importantly, teach them what to do with them. You should be fair but flexible. The next guideline is to use induction to teach when you discipline. To teach with induction means to explain to the child why you won't allow certain behaviors, then explain the consequences of their actions, and then the effects that they have on other people. This teaches the child that the parent isn't acting out of anger and has their best interest at heart. In response, the child will grow to understand that while having an opinion and being able to voice that is important, it's equally important to have a mind willing to be wrong and to learn. The fourth guideline is to work with your child's temperamental qualities, not against it. A lot of times we wish our children would just be quiet and sit still. But if you have an active 3-year-old like I do, you know that you wouldn't be able to expect him to sit still for 2 hours watching a movie. Instead, you take him somewhere he could have physical activity. It's unfair to the child and frustrating to the parent for no reason. The fifth guideline fits right in with that. Understand your child's age related cognitive abilities and limitations. Don't set unreal expectations on the child that will later lead to feelings of inadequacy. The last guideline is the easiest to say but the hardest to comprehend. Don't expect perfection and go with the flow. I found an article in the New York Times by Nancy Rubin in 1987 summarizing the theory that there's a correlation between a child's academic performance and the parenting style that they are exposed to. She cites a study done by Professor Sanford Dornbush of 8,000 high school children of all socioeconomic backgrounds and family structures. It found that teenagers exposed to a more authoritative style of parenting received higher grades than those of an authoritarian or permissive style. In an article in the journal Procedia, Social and Behavioral Sciences by Rosario Ruiz Alvarez was published on the relationship between parenting styles and aggression in children. It shows an extensive amount of research done on this correlation and found that there is indeed a positive link between authoritarian parenting and aggression in children. Roa and Barrio in 2001 and 2002 found high scores on the PCRI, or Parent-Child Relationship Inventory, in line with authoritative parenting, indicating good practices. Low scores were associated with authoritarian and permissive styles, indicating a lack of limit setting and not providing adequate parenting. These studies concur that authoritative parenting results in a lower score of aggression. Lastly, I'll show research that I found that shows a positive correlation between authoritative parenting and emotional well-being and conduct. Among these studies, Malevsky and colleagues in the article Maternal and Paternal Parenting Styles in Adolescents, Associations with Self-Esteem, Depression, and Life Satisfaction found that low depression and high self-esteem were related to authoritative mothering. It was also assessed that psychological adjustment was related to paternal parenting styles. It was assessed that permissive mothering was less effective as compared to authoritative mothering. In watching my friend with her teenager and the authoritative style of parenting she has chose to have with him, I feel confident that she has raised a well-rounded individual. He's kind and aware of his actions. He has a very low rate of aggression, and he's a great example for my little one. J.S. Brooks, in the article Aggression in Toddlers, Associations with Parenting and Marital Relations, published in the Journal of Genetic Psychology, reports that it was analyzed that aggression in toddlers was associated with parental aggression and maternal child rearing practices. This was proof to me that my theory on my child's aggression was correct. In the article Parenting Styles of Aggression Among Young Adolescents, a systematic review of literature, authors Mossad and colleagues did a review of 34 relevant studies that show parenting style has a direct impact on aggression in children. It states authoritative parenting style plays a positive role in psychological behavior in children, while authoritarian and permissive style plays results in aggression and negative behavior. Healy found in the piece maternal positive parenting style is associated with better functioning in hyperactive, inattentive preschool children, that infant and child development parenting style moderates the relationship between child functioning and ADHD symptoms. Today, my goal was to educate you on why authoritative parenting is the most effective. I discussed how to be an effective authoritative parent, shown a positive correlation between authoritative parenting and academic scores and lower depression rates, and presented studies that supported a positive link between parenting styles and self-esteem, aggression, and conduct in children. We all strive to be the best parent we can, and there's a lot of information we can use to educate ourselves to provide our children with a healthier childhood and give them their best chance. This is how I've chosen to raise my son.